most important thing in your life is the Word of God. If the Word ain't part of your daily routine, then you ain't got a routine. It's got to be part of your daily routine. It needs to be a habit. It does. It needs to be a habit that you pick up that Word and take and wash yourself with it. It is. That's more important than your shower, your morning shower, your breakfast. That's more important than everything is the Word of God. It is. If we ain't got the Word, we ain't going to make it, are we?
Amen.
All right. Everybody stand. The man of God. Praise the Lord. Welcome, Brother Wayne Marcum and Jesus at the ministry for us this evening. Hallelujah. We love you. Thank you, Jesus. You got preacher. There you go. You got the big pockets tonight.
All totes in there. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
I hurried up, got up here before she told something else on me.
Amen.
Yeah, it's good to be in the house of the Lord. Lord's been working on me. Revival has been great for Brother Wayne. Love, been grateful. You know, and I thank Him for all He does. When we look at the world today, there's trouble on every hand.
Yes.
Yeah, I think about my children, neighbors, all those. When I pray, I mention those God. Shake those that's around. And I do mean shake things. You know, I want to read just a very little bit here tonight. I'm in Acts 2, verse 17. When you get there, say amen.
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 Right. Here we go. And it shall come to pass in the last days, saith God, I will pour out of my Spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, and your young men shall see visions, and your old men shall dream dreams. And on my servants and on my handmaids I will pour out in those days of my Spirit, and they shall prophesy. You can be seated. Give the Lord a hand clap.
Hallelujah.
You know, and I felt unworthy the morning of the 19th during this revival. The 18th that night, Brother Damon Murphy had ministered here. I went home and I had laid down. I had prayed and I laid down in the bed. And I can remember at 2 o'clock in the morning, so on the 19th, that the Lord was preaching to me so hard through my mind, and the y'all preachers and even some of you saints out there, you know what I'm talking about. Things kept rushing through my mind and through my head, and at 2 o'clock, I was still awake, and I prayed, Lord, let me go to sleep. I'm wore out. I begged, Lord, let me go to sleep. This is going to be tough for me because I'm a crybaby. I'll tell you right down. Y'all know that.
I am too.
Around a little after 2 o'clock in the morning, God moved up on me. I had a vision, or you call it trance. I've never had nothing like it. I even asked Brother David, and I think the pastor, I said, what would you call it? He said, I think it's about the same thing, a trance or a vision. As I laid in that bed there, suddenly it's like my eyes, I started moving. I seen a giant church house. A great big, probably as long as a football field and as wide, and it was made in an A-frame shape from the front. It wasn't nothing fancy. It looked like it had like a tin roof. But my spirit was moving through there. I was up above everything and looking directly at it. And He took me into the front door. There was a front door there, and as I went into this front door, this was in a dream. And I'm telling you, it was surreal. But when I went into that front door, I entered another building inside that building, and it was probably 15 foot by 20 foot long. It was, like a rectangle shape. And when I got there, I was up above everybody about 3 foot. And it felt like it was just my spirit or just my eyes. I didn't have a body. It was just my eyes seeing these things. Wasn't nothing else. And I got to looking, and there's a lot of people out there in that particular area right there, and they had on looked like black graduation gowns like. But their shirts or whatever were completely white, and they had on almost like they wore back in the old days, like a robe, like a skirt from there down with black pleat in the front. And I was wondering as I looked at, but their face, they had no character to their face. They had no nose, it just round, but I didn't see up close. It kept me back to where it just looked like a mannequin almost with no kind of features. And I got a looking, and up there was a little building. And I thought a lot of them buildings that you see rent to buy. And it was probably like 15 foot long and like 10 foot wide and had a little door opening on it. And as I looked in there, I seen like a restoration that you see at a funeral that has that little light with a chain on the side of it and a book where you signed that you had been there for that loved one or whoever. And I looked there, and it took me to a double doors. It took me to double door, and they opened automatically. And it took me inside, and as I looked down, I could see all these people that were sitting in the pews. They were dressed in black, just like the ones I seen out in the hallway. But I got looking on the side of the wall, and they was big numbers. They was sectioned off. And it started on 7 and went to 1 down towards the pulpit this way. And I began to wonder in that vision, what is this? Well, when I looked up at the 7 there, in the section of 7, there wasn't about 15 people there. And the Lord spoke to me in my mind, and He said 7 is the number of completion. It's one of God's numbers of completion. It's 7. And these people, I didn't realize this, but these people all look like judges. Dressed up similar to judges. But anyhow, from 7 to 6 on down. And they had on the same things. The one outside, only thing of it is here, on their dress part here was white. The 7 was completely white. And as it went from 7 or 6 down to 1 towards the pulpit, the center part of it become almost like a dull white. Started out bright from 7 and went to a dull white when it got down to 1. And I was wondering what all these things going. Now this was I wasn't asleep, but I wasn't awake either. I couldn't do nothing about it. I was carried away, but when I was in the Spirit with it, He was moving me that way. And the gentleman showed behind the pulpit had on camel skin clothes. And I thought of John the Baptist. I thought of him, and I couldn't figure it out why. Now, I haven't figured all this out tonight. I know y'all are men and women of God tonight. Sister's been helping me with some of it, and she told me, she said, as you go along, God's going to reveal it to you bit by bit. It's going to happen to you. Then this is the important part. He took me back out to the room. He took me out for that little small building where the restoration was. And as I looked in there, He started taking me in there. And when I got up to where the restoration went, I could see names, but I couldn't see, who they were. Written down on this book. And I looked over on the right-hand side, and it was like dimly lit. There was a nurse. A nurse that used to wear, the old time used to wear those linen stockings. Had linen stockings, a white shoe, and that little hat that they would wear was dressed in completely white. And there was a man there, and she was drawing blood from him. I don't know what you call it, anesthesiology. People do that. What you call him to draw blood? She was drawing blood from this gentleman. And as I looked, and I thought what it was. And I looked, and he brought me back over top. Now listen to this. He brought me back over top of that restoration. And you know what it said on top? It says Jesus' DNA. On top of that book there at death. And I'm telling you, I had a time in the bed in the Spirit. That's exactly what he told me a little bit of time. Think she was drawing blood. They was taking samples of Jesus' people is what they got from it. When I woke up, I was on my back. My ears were full of tears. Full of it. And I was already wore out when I went to sleep. And I had to tell somebody. And I throw bits and pieces. I said, well, last month preach. And sis said, write that down. She said, you need to write them down. I said, no, if I write it down, I will get mixed up. I want it just the way He gave it to me. But He gave me that dream for a purpose. But He said in the last days, and I don't feel worthy of that dream. You hear me? I don't feel worthy. But God seen fit to send me a warning or whatever it may be. But I tell you what, I like to think that the church family was once, we were some of the 15 that was there. And maybe some of them that's already went on. That was telling me, if you're right, there are not going to be many of you. But persevering in here. Keep pressing on. Don't give up, sis. Our God is more than a conqueror. He's a deliverer. Amen.
Amen.
That's exactly what the dream was, or the vision was. and I still didn't understand it all. And something looked over the nurse, and you think about that. When you look over there drawing blood, and I looked at restoration again, the Lord took my eyes back over, and it said Jesus DNA, but it didn't show name, but the page was full. Come down, now think about that. What is DNA? It is your makeup. We all know what that is. Boy, I didn't know I was going to get on that. But I'm going to tell you something other. I think tonight the people in this house have the DNA of Jesus. He's the one brought you here. We've drove no vehicle, but that vehicle was man-made. But we had the desire down inside to go ahead and say, Lord, we are of you. And tonight we're going to your house. And while were we gone, we're going to lift up the saints tonight. To those that belittled, that said the corner don't think for nobody. Those are the one that needs hope. It's those young ones that needs to grow. Oh, you can't stay on the milk forever. I say it all the time. You become lactose intolerant, it will kill you. But you got to start out somewhere. You know, a lot of them are on the pacifier. What does a pacifier do? You don't get anything out of it. And that's what's happening in the church world today. The word that's coming up here is nothing but a pacifier. They look out through the pews and they select their sermon and said, let God give to them.
Amen. Come on.
Amen. Thank you, Jesus.
Come on, Ruth.
God so loved the world that he gave his only son, begotten son. He came to save, not to destroy. That's the devil's business. You know, I don't serve him. He has nothing to do with me. Brother Robbie enlightened me a lot over that. It's a simple thing sometimes that you know you need to take away growing pains. Oh, he was saying in here that water heater broke down. That wasn't the devil. That's life, and it is. But sometimes you just never think about those kinds of things.
Amen.
Amen. You just don't think of them. But I'll tell you what. You know, I was sitting here. Oh, you say you were that good? No. I was hungry. I was dying. You probably could almost smell the embalming fluid on Brother Wayne. I got weak and in bad shape because the word was not preached.
Yeah. Come on.
You couldn't preach the word. If you got a little bit strict, they want you to sit down. Don't look and don't say this and don't say that. It's God's word. You know, there's nothing like love. Amen. Without love starts at 9 fruits of the Sperry. Without love, you can't do none of the rest of it. You know, we talk about temple should be first far as this old flesh man, but really, you know, love conquers all. Amen. If you ain't got it, you can't have the other 8. Right. It just works just exactly that way. But you know, Jesus is letting me know there's a work to be done. Yeah. There's a message to preach. There's souls still needing to be saved. You know, we write them off out here as dope heads, somebody to bother to society, but you know, Jesus died just for them. I got a niece that I love dearly. I prayed for her and you hear it. How many times have you heard Brother Marcum say, yo, remember my niece, remember my family tonight. They're not just ordinary, they're my family. That makes it personal.
Amen. Come on.
That's the way my walk with Jesus is. Amen. You got to have that DNA of Jesus.
That's right.
And when you got saved, you got started. Oh, you was on the milk for a while and you made mistakes. We all do. But guess what? Oh, I'm going to tell on the Godheads. You had a what? What you had?
Come on.
You had an advocate with the Father, Jesus Christ the righteous, Brother Bo. That's who he was. So when you make mistakes, guess what? You got not planned. Oh no, you can't plan to sin now. Paul said, God forbid. Come on now, you can't do that every day. Well, off the hound say curse words, and I'll pray extra 15 minutes. It don't work that way. Not with God. When he cleans you up, 12:1 of Romans said, what did he say? He said, I beg you, I beseech you, brethren, by the mercies of God, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable unto God, which is, he didn't say unreasonable, is your reasonable service. In other words, there's no excuse for you not to be God. You should be godly. You could be equal with him. We limit ourselves because that word can't. As they say in here, it's a cliche, can't never did do nothing. Never. You know where I got where I'm at with Jesus? On bending knees. In submission.
Yes.
You can't run the show.
That's right.
Jesus is the master. He's all of it. We can't do a thing about it.
That's right.
Amen?
Come on.
You know, I didn't know, but the Lord told me to read a little bit. I'm going to find something, I'm going to read a little bit. He actually told me where I'm going. That's pretty good when the Lord tells you. I like him because he's my director.
That's right.
Amen. There's nothing inside me. I can't do a thing.
Come on, brother.
Without Jesus, I'm nothing.
Have your way.
And I tell you what, he put in my Sperry. He called us little children. Wonder why he done that. Wonder why he called us little children. You ever notice a little child fall on behind parents? You'll look back and you'll say, Johnny or Nancy, they come on and they're over here and they're over there and they're splitting the mud holes and they're little crack around. Oh, Jesus know we was going to vary off to the left and to the right. Did he not?
Yes.
Oh, we all ain't perfect, are we? Now, come on. They wasn't but one. The rest of that means we make mistakes. That we're still in the flesh and flesh acts up from time to time. You know, I kind of like that. That was quite good. The world needs to know that. Flesh ain't done nothing for nobody. You know, when you drive your old car down the road, you know, it takes you to wherever you want to go. It don't take you to the beer garden and the golf course unless you want it to go there. Because you're its director. But if you got Jesus' DNA, you're going to be in the house of God. Listen, somebody said, come on to go to church with me today. And you're not short-arming him. You're not embarrassed about it, Sister Pam.
Come on.
God's everything.
Amen.
He's everything. I wish people would get a hold of that.
That's right.
They act like it's a temporary service. Amen?
No, sir.
Just in time of trouble.
Come on.
Only time they want him.
Come on.
Oh, Lord, that electric bill short this month. What am I going to do, honey?
Uh-huh.
And I was up in arms. You got to learn to trust God. Those are growing pains. Something you have to grow over and learn the greater that it's in you and it's in the world.
Amen.
Amen. Why you let the world dominate us? Why we let the old bully us around like he does?
That's right.
Amen. Pick on us. He has no authority. None whatsoever.
That's right.
Jesus stepped on his head.
That's right.
He bruised his heel. Amen. He's behind us. What does he do? He just lays out little stumbling blocks. And after a while, what causes them stumbling blocks to move? Prayer. Oh, like Brother Scott said, prayer and more prayer.
Come on.
That's what does it. Amen. That's what cleans a mirror where there ain't no spots on it when you look in there. When you get in there, look like a spot there, you want to rub it off, and it ain't on the mirror, it's on you. That's what happens when you in the world. That's what happens when you lie to God and you cheat on Him. You can tell him the white lies is all right. How do you know that, Brother Martin? I'm going to tell on myself what she tells on me.
Come on.
When I first got saved, I was a big High State Buckeye fan because we grew up, we never had TV. Boy, I tell you, anytime they was on, I was right there. They lost, I about cried. I'd go up in. Young Christian got saved.
Uh-huh.
I always called her Marcella, my sister. Oh, we're close. She would call me up and go, what you doing, watching the ball game? And I just got saved too. I lied like a dog. You can say, can you do it? Yeah, you can do that. Didn't want to get caught up. She knowed me. She knowed me. You watching the ball game. I locked up. I said to her, Bill, what? Never. I wouldn't let her get ahead of it. See, that's what the devil does to you. He speaks to you like that. But you know that's sin.
Yes, it is.
Amen. That's sin.
Come on.
All liars have their part in the lake of fire.
Uh-huh.
So I give her a lot of credit. A lot of credit. She'd call me. I started praying. Lord, you know what? I'm possessed with these ball game things. I'm possessed with them things in sports. I used to be crazy over that stuff. And I thought, Lord, what do I need to do? You need to quit. Real simple. Nobody had to write me a letter. You need to quit.
Amen.
She didn't even know that. I kept telling her because Helen did, the old wife did, Mom tell on me. She knowed I would get put my everybody bar call. You watch that ball game. But guess what? I haven't done it for a long time. Ball games don't keep me home.
Come on.
Oh, and I don't DPR me. Just watch them sometime at night or whatever. If one happened to be on, I pass by the glance at it and go about my business. It don't take priority over me no more.
Come on.
When Jesus got fully moved in, you know what? There was no room for nothing else. He said, have a mind in you. It's in Christ Jesus. If it's on the ball game, you don't have the mind that was in Christ Jesus. I'll tell you right now, it's not 1, 2, 3, go. It's 1, 2, 3, you in trouble. If something happens, you're in rent, and just the way it is. But people all the time holler, oh, here I go again. You catch them everywhere in the world but in the house of God. And when troubles come up on them, I don't know why this happens to me. I love Jesus. And I go to church when I can, and it hadn't been in 6 months. And you know it. A lot of them your neighbors. Right there beside you. And they will tell you. What would they tell? Oh, how I love Jesus. And you know what I tell them? Yeah, it's coming. Oh, how you lied. Lord said, if you love me, you will follow my commandments. If you don't follow him, it's black and white. You're a sinner. You're born against his perfect will. Why don't people get a hold of God like you? I was thinking about it and I was reading today. As I come over here, and I told you, Lord did pour some things on me. I'm telling you something other. People will drive. We're coming with Larry. People will drive. They'll buy them a new car. Oh, guess what? They'll shine on that car. That means more to them than anything, that old car. They'll shine on it. You can't get them to come to Hamilton Creek because of the holes in the road.
Amen.
But now, if you've got the desire, you're going to get there. You might have to slow down, go around and straddle a few, but you're going to get to the house of God, and it's not going to be an obstacle to keep you out of there. You know that? But they'll clean on that old car, and that's why worship it and stay home and lie to the pastor when he asks him to go to church, and to the brother and the sister out here. But guess what happened? It's like a lot of Christians today. First thing you know, they forgot to check oil and it locks up on them. Do you remember the 10 virgins? They didn't have any oil. Guess what happened to the old car? He didn't either. You can pretty it outside all you want. If you ain't got the inside right, you are in trouble. I'll tell you that now. And God spoke in my prayer and said, go on back with that. He said, you're driving that old car. And you know what people do? Well, I couldn't help myself. I ended up down there at the ball game, and I say this a lot because the world, it's a generality. People preach the world anymore. The world has got callous to that word world. Come out from other world. They sit under it and never pay attention to it. Slides right past them. But when you tell them, oh yes, it's down at the golf course. You have a lot of preachers sitting in there worried about tea time on Sunday. Oh yeah, we gotta have our tea time now. We're gonna take up, so if you come to all prayer for hold, shame on you, you better take it home with you because you're not gonna get it there. Maybe that's what they do to you. I know, I've been in this stuff. I see it all the time. I know all the excuses. Why? I was the devil's one time. When you're not saved, you're of the devil. Who's your daddy? Who's your daddy? If you're not saved, who is he? Come on. Just plainly, nobody wants that no more. That's right. You know, you can holler, you can jump, you can run all over, but if you never preach the truth, young people think,
come on, preach.
oh, I got to get this handkerchief out. This is a good imitator here because I've seen it many times.
Come on.
Would I pick on the Baptist church, the church? Sure I would. It's against God. It started in the 2nd century in the Catholic. That's where it started at. And they'll get up and you hear some old lady that cause everybody to have a heart attack. They'll be sitting playing music. Woo! And everybody's about to run, looks over. But you know, you ought to see the headlines the next day when you talk to somebody. We had a great service. God was there. Yeah, you got that deaf girl mommy crying going on, and Holy Ghost couldn't even know you. That's what happened in the church house today. They go at 7 and leave at 9. God didn't show up. We passed a lot of them, like I said, that's dead. Rigor mortis done set in. You can smell it from Route 10 down here. 152, wherever you go. But I'm telling you, God's looking there for a people that's made themselves ready. That's made themselves ready. That's lived up to the price of the high calling. That's what they need to be today. And quit playing church. Amen. God. Well, I have a need. I don't want to go into a house of so-called God where they don't worship Him in truth and in spirit.
Come on.
You stay in water long enough, you'll become waterlogged.
Amen.
You put on that wrong balance, you won't be able to walk.
Come on.
Do anything to help anybody. Oh, I'm telling you what.
Come on.
I'm telling you what, I wish I had help in this world today. I wish people get a backbone down. Quit dancing not need around and going around the Sperry, looking out in the pew so I can't preach that. She's got a short dress on. I'm not going to mention a thing about that. Oh, look back there at that one where you got to look the other way. You look like you're in a hosting convention somewhere. How do you know that, Brother Mark? I lived through it. When I preached in a certain church, they walked up to me and they said, I want to tell you something, Brother Marcum. You done a great job, and you didn't preach on clothing. I said, if the Lord give it to me, I would have laid it on them. How can you preach love when you look out the car congregation and they look so ungodly into the world, and you keep on preaching love, love will kill you sometime. I'll tell you, it'll take you to hell. Keep loving everybody. But God said, follow His statutes and His commandments, that He would be the deliverer of His word. Not you. We didn't write it.
That's right.
Amen. Amen.
But he told Moses. So Moses said, I'm still the great I am.
Yeah.
Oh, I bet this will get something on you too.
Come on.
He'll say, well, who was that? Be like it was over at that Brush Harbor meeting. Brother Marcum, I've had calls over at ball game. We was on loudspeaker. My daddy used to have about a 12-inch loudspeaker on his house. And I'll tell you, he preached Jesus.
Yeah.
He preached for like 56 years, didn't exist. And he preached it. They was on the hillside sitting on rock cliffs up on my house listening to him today. And I don't know how in the world they stay in them old trendy churches down there where they sing and cry and nothing ever goes on.
Come on.
Yeah, I've got dogs that do that. They sing and cry and nothing ever happens. Come on. I'm glad I serve a God that when I call upon Him, that He moved.
Yes.
Amen.
Yeah.
Not one of these your make-believe gods. I don't need them. But the world's got all kinds of them.
Amen. Come on.
TV set, the computer, Facebook. Oh, I'm not wrong with Facebook. It's what you do on it. If it's got you good or you can't get off of it by checking on Nancy Jane and Jimmy do, you're in trouble. Come to the house of God, you ain't even got back yet. You got to get ready to go to church. And when you go to church, you ought to be ready to do something for God.
Come on.
You don't go there to just be idle. Did He wake Brother Wayne up not to do anything? To sit back there and just play that old guitar and get around? He said, you got to praise me. You're a vehicle of my good.
Come on.
But you know what? That old car, it lost its oil. It blowed up. Wasn't nothing there for it. But you know what? God wants a vehicle. You'll never drive His body anywhere anymore. Not only to the ball game.
Come on.
They'll go down to Pizza Ball and spend their money, and they won't help their neighbor across the street
Come
over
on.
there that needs gas to get to the house of God.
Come on.
Need no spare tire. They won't even help them tonight. I know. I've been through it. But boy, and they will not help you. Jesus, this is a vehicle of God if you're saved. Where you drive, it matters. You drive it down to the beer garden, guess what you're doing? It's a vehicle of Jesus. He said, I will not dwell in an unclean temple. If you went there and you said, well, I got a friend I talked to down there, you haven't got God to be defamed because you claimed His name. And you are defaming His name. That's what the children of Israel done. Amen. We're going to start being like Nehemiah. Amen. That was hurrying over Jerusalem when they broke it down. We're going to start being like him. You know what he done? Amen. He bothered him so bad because some of them there wasn't all captured. And a friend of his, I can't remember his name in the Bible, but he inquired of them. And he wanted to know. He said, what's going on there? He said, there's a few left. He said, but Jerusalem, he said, the gates are burnt. Some of the walls are coming down. And it hurt Nehemiah. He said, those sepulchres, those graveyards, my family's back there. And he was crying, he prayed about it. And he went to the old king. And the old king, let me tell you something. Back in that days, if you went with a bad countenance, they beheaded you or killed you. You didn't walk, he was a cupbearer for the king. And when he went up to him there, he had a countenance of sadness. He couldn't help himself. But he already prayed. The old king looked at said, Nehemiah, what's wrong with you? I know you're not sick. I'm paraphrasing. He said, I know you're not sick. But what is wrong with you? He said, okay, have I served you well? I've always done what I could do for you, the best I could. He couldn't find no fault. He said, my city, Jerusalem, the walls have been broken down. The gates have been set apart. And it hurts me. My family's there. They're in their grave. Their sepulchres there. Oh, king, I want to go and I want to rebuild it. And the king looked at him. And guess what? Because he'd already prayed. He said, what do you need? What do you need? He said, oh, I just need a few men. He said, how long? Probably about 52 days. Guess what? He went on his journey. They sent a script with him. They could pay off in some of the guards that he could go through these countries. That's what Jesus does. We're going to have to build walls around us that the devil can't infiltrate. I'm talking about this spiritual man. We're going to put wall up. We're going to start carrying our sword. Nehemiah worked in one hand and carried his sword with the other. That's our sword today. That's what we need today. Don't lay down the altar. Pick it up. Carry your sword with you. That's what he done. And the Bible said, even when they brought in supplies, they carried their sword. sword. They were ready tonight. Let me tell you something, brother. You better get that full armor on. Time is winding down. We're coming up on death row. Did you hear me today? And it may be physically. Maybe physically.
Amen.
Woo, I kind of like that.
Amen.
I thank Jesus for what he does.
Yes. Amen.
Amen.
He means everything to Brother Marcum. I'll tell you it right now. Wasn't for him, I couldn't be here.
Right.
Wasn't for the church family that put me among. I would have probably died out of the church I was in because I couldn't work. I couldn't do anything.
Bless him, Lord.
They wanted me there just to sing. I was just a singer, all the one they had. When I left, you ought to hear some church people try to pick a fight with me. And I kept quoting scriptures.
Come on.
That's got to change. You
Amen.
can't look like that, walk like that, and be Christians.
Come on.
And told me they preach Jesus too much. How can you preach Jesus too much? I find him from Genesis to Revelation.
Come on.
He's all there is to preach about. They need to get a hold of who he is. And evidently they haven't got it. You know, I don't like that old Burger King religion.
Amen.
That Burger King religion will get you in trouble.
Amen.
Y'all remember that jingle? I'm probably older, maybe all of you don't. Huh?
Come on.
Anybody remember the old Burger King jingle, how they had it?
Come on. Have it your way.
Come on.
Oh, you can't have it your way, brother.
Amen. Come on.
Oh, jingle went, hold the pickle, hold the lettuce, special order, don't upset us. Have it your way at Burger King.
Come on.
But you know what I like?
Hallelujah.
When it's hot and juicy. I like it right straight off the grill. Well, yes, again, God's word. That it's not packed up, that it's not changed. Nobody has to use it to keep their own agenda. It wasn't made for that. That is Jesus' agenda. That is his word. You walk in it. I wanted these drawers because it reminds me of the old path. Not to hurt anybody. Remind me of that old path. He said, find that old path and walk therein. He didn't say get that poor lame highway to hell.
Come on.
That's where it's at. Everybody's into right here.
Amen.
Don't believe me? Watch a little TV.
Come
You
on.
can't watch the news anymore. I can't watch the weather without some curse word or some ungodliness stuff on there. But you know what? They'll look around, they want to blame it on something else.
Uh-huh.
Oh, something else. It's our ungodliness.
Come on.
It's we've turned to wickedness. They're trying to make our Jesus, you know, equal with Muhammad, the Dalai Lama of Iran, Allah, the Muslim. You know, they're trying to make him equal with that. And guess what they're going to do? Here's some prophecy for you here. Come right out of God's book. And I'm going to tell you this right now. After a while, they're going to force you to make them equal opportunity. For them, you're going to accept them as they are. You can't say nothing against them. And when you start preaching against the Muslim, which is not out of God's word, that's written of the anointing of the disciple, guess what? You're going to be in prison. They're going to take your tax dollars off your church. If you ain't got 500 members, they're going to close it down. And we're going to be back in tents or houses like it was in God's day. And I'm not too good for that. They ain't a bit of crawdad in me. I ain't backing up to the world. If you want to know the truth of the Brother Wayne, God will give it to you. And gentlemen sitting around me here will help you. It'll be help.
Hallelujah.
Don't want to pick on you. This Bible don't pick on you.
Amen.
It tells you just how to go to heaven. That's a GPS. Go to heaven. So I do. Yes, it is. I like it. Amen. That's just the way it is.
Come on.
But people talk about it all the time. They want to come for this, come for that. It's good to preach stories. I like to hear stories in the Bible. Amen. I like to hear stories. But you got to preach on sin sometimes. You just can't. It's kind of raw if you take the cover off of it.
Come on.
Get looking at it. I don't see nothing fancy on it.
Amen.
Plain words are with it.
Come on.
I don't see nothing there soothing about it.
Come on,
But I
brother.
do see the blood. He died for this word.
Come on.
Lord, we ought to take it serious tonight.
Come on.
On Calvary's mountain, that blood was applied.
Amen.
Oh, you know, we had no hope if he hadn't went to that cross.
That's right.
Oh, you look around. The chosen people rejected him. They were expecting a grown man,
Yeah.
full of wisdom, and not just split the sky on some big kaboom. But he came as a boy.
Yeah.
Oh, 12 years old, he astonished and amazed all those intelligent minds in science at that time. Oh, I like when God moves up on education. In which case, I'll take a few words and confound the wise. He's done it today. That's the reason many are called, but a few are chosen. He knows his people. Lord says he knows his people. His people knows his voice, and the stranger that will not follow.
Amen.
Hey, man, I preached a message about sheep in here one time. God brought it back to him just now. You know, a lot of people, well, they got all them flocks of sheep over in the Holy Land years ago, and when they got them together, how they know which one was which?